Yes, you're watching the SA Sports Show World Cage, a big event happening here in December.
Yes, it is.
The 3rd to the 10th, of course, is the Pacific School Games. We've been lucky enough to get the event manager, Dominic Fitzsimmons, to join us. Dominic, thanks for your time.
Thank you for the opportunity.
Mate, I'd imagine it's pretty busy. I mean, a long time ago, this was just seen as events for the Pacific. Now it's become international. Now we've got it coming to South Australia. 5,000 or more athletes and people coming to South Australia. The workload for you?
Piece of cake.
That's not what you said off air, Dominic.
No, it's pretty... the first word, peace off.
He said, look at these grey hairs I've developed.
Oh, just the hair jokes.
Now, Dominic, how many countries will come to South Australia?
We've got 9 countries this time, which is fantastic.
9 countries?
From, India, Pakistan, China, Macau, Fiji, New Zealand, New Caledonia, so there's a whole range, Philippines, so it's a really great array of countries coming along.
And what type of events, what events are part of it?
So there's 11 sports involved. There's basketball, football, goalball, which is a Paralympic sport, which is a fantastic event. Swimming, diving, touch football, softball, golf, hockey, track and field, and netball. So there's something for everybody there.
He's got it all right. They're all the ones I have written down. I can confirm that you're on the money there. Hey, is one sport bigger than the other?
They do vary in size. So goalball is probably the smallest, but we're really excited this year. The Philippines are coming over for that, so made that an international event. Probably swimming's probably the biggest, about 900 compete in that, and soccer's pretty big as well, the football.
But to have an event like that, to me, the dynamics of finding accommodation, getting
facilities,
people set up, then the sponsors that come around that. I mean, a couple of big sponsors for the event.
We've been really lucky to get some amazing sponsors. The state government's been really supportive of us throughout the whole time, which is great. Adelaide Shores, who are involved with this show, of course, they've been a long-time sponsor of sport in South Australia, one of the great sporting venues in South Australia, and we're pleased to have 2 sports, softball and touch football down there. And Adelaide Uni really see it as a great opportunity to showcase how great they are and the international flavour that they bring to Adelaide, and they're really keen on working with the international students.
Dominic, how often are these games held?
So roughly every 4 years they've been, although the last one was actually in Adelaide 2 years ago. But we're about 30% bigger this time than last time in terms of this number of athletes, which is fantastic.
Venue-wise, because is it fairly spread? I mean, you've talked about Adelaide Shores. The swimming, I imagine, is at the
Aquatic Centre.
The Aquatic Centre. What about the basketball and the footy? And
basketball's out at the new ARC Centre out at Campbelltown, which is great.
Beautiful.
A fully air-conditioned venue for the guys this time, which is awesome. Golf's got 7 different venues, so we've got most of the best clubs in Adelaide, like Kooyonga and Grange and Glenelg, have been kind enough to make their facilities available for the competition. Mount Osman is amazing. I don't know if you've been up there.
Beautiful spot.
We've decided we'll take both age kids up there because it's just such an amazing spot, and you can overlook Adelaide and enjoy a nice meal afterwards. So,
what are the ages of the competitors? What does it range from?
So generally there's kind of a primary school component and a secondary school component. So it starts at about 10 up to 19. So there's usually an under 12 comp. And then all the sports have different, either 15, 16 or 17 or 18 or 19, depending on the sport.
What's the workload like for you now as we close in, mate? I watched you come in, papers under your arm, computer, and you were going anywhere you could get work going. So,
I did have some sleep last night.
I just don't know so it's a 7-day-a-week for you right now. What's an average day?
I spend about the first 2 hours answering emails because we're liaising with all the teams, the international teams. We've got to get them visas. We've got to finalise all the rules of the competition. We've got to get all the managers to understand the rules, where the competition is, where the accommodation is. We're arranging all their catering for them. We've also got, this year we've got a games village, which is going to be absolutely amazing.
Whereabouts is that?
Adelaide Uni.
Adelaide Uni.
Every night from the 4th to the 8th, there'll be a live sports show similar to this with people like Jess Trengove, Maddie Wilson, all our great Katrina Webb, Izzy Blaez, Joey Wright and Carl Viet are some of the guys that will be interviewed on that. And also the kids will get up and be interviewed. And also we've got a bit of a talent competition for the kids too, so they can get up and show they're not only sporting talents, but they can get up on stage and do whatever it is they want to do.
Dominic, what countries have held these games?
So it's all over in Australia.
In Australia?
It actually started at the Commonwealth Games in Brisbane. Given there's Commonwealth Games up there this time.
Gold Coast,
It was used as a kind of a warm-up event for the facilities. That's why they started it. So School Sport Australia run about 42 national championships every year anyway, and they bring 11 of those sports together for the Pacific School Games each year. So instead of spreading them out all over Australia, they bring them all as one sport. And the great thing is then the kids get to overlap and meet other sporting people. You've got the big games village, so it's almost an Olympic feel for them, and that's really attractive for the overseas teams because it gives them a chance to mingle with, and also for our guys to meet with the internationals.
Hey Don, when you talk about the number of people that are coming in, the Sydney Olympics, one of the great things about the Sydney Olympics, and you talk to the athletes, was the volunteers and how nice they were, how everything was going. For you, I would imagine the volunteers are vital.
Yeah, they're the key. And the Adelaide people at Adelaide are absolutely amazing with the volunteers, and we've had great support. We're well ahead of our schedule in terms of recruiting volunteers. We've got a really good system because obviously it's important that there's safety and the volunteers know what they're doing, but also they get the rewards out of it and learn something. So some of them are doing it to help further their careers, some are just want to enjoy and help the kids. So there's a million reasons why they do it, but we've got over there's about 500 volunteers, plus there's all the technical officials and that are volunteering in some cases.
A lot of them returnees. You know, you said a couple of years ago they enjoyed it that much. They've gone
they do.
It again.
They do. And one of the big places we use the volunteers is the accreditation centre at the airport. So when the kids arrive on the plane, we've got a massive accreditation centre, and the airport, who are another sponsor and been really helpful, and they just loved it because they just had people from all over Adelaide, all these internationals coming, and we created a really good vibe at the airport, which was really welcoming and showcased Adelaide.
Dom, apart from the youngsters competing in the various sports, what about the kids mixing with other nationalities and other kids? That would be a fantastic moment for them.
And one of the really good things about School Sport Australia is we include an education component in the sport. So every sport has a day off to do education.
You're kidding me?
And that's where you actually mix and match with all the other teams. And Adelaide Uni, of course, come on board big time with that. And they'll be doing things all about the body and how it works, how to balance life and study and moving from school to uni. And so we're providing them a lot of background so they'll be able to keep into the future. It's going to be awesome for them.
It's unbelievable.
I was watching your face then when he said there's an education component. I was they're not going to enjoy that, but you didn't let him get to the part where it's all about how you improve.
They don't want the day off. No, exactly right, Smiley. When I went to school, it was SAPSARSA sports.
SAPSARSA used to, same thing.
Well, SAPSARSA is where these kids have come from. So they're selected from the best SAPSARSA teams in South Australia.
I was going to ask you about selection.
Yeah.
And the selection criteria for these kids.
So the SAPSARSA run their inter-school comps and they do the regional comps, and then they pick the best team in each of the sports that compete in this. So this is the best athletes in Australia in their chosen sports and competing with some of the best in the world. So we've got people like Ian Thorpe, Kathy Freeman.
You're kidding me?
They've all done Pacific School Games, so they all came through this process.
Well, there you go, Smiley.
So future champions are going to come out.
So well, it's
December
amazing.
the 3rd, December the 10th, there'll be a lot happening here in Adelaide. You need to get around it, see what's going on.
Get online.
Get online, get your tickets.
Venues, so
exactly right. Dominic, thanks for coming in. Really appreciate your time.
Pleasure.
Stay with us.